Integrating Water, Land and Ecosystems Management in the Caribbean Small Island Developing States IWeco, St. Kitts and Nevis pilot project aimed at restoring the ecological attributes and pristine beauty of the Nelson Spring cotton ground Nevis has been deemed timely by residents of St. Thomas's Parish and embraced by the general population.
You're doing a good job, very clean, and it's, because those grass that wasn't good for the pond.
We used to swim, that's where I learned to swim actually, from the wire that was there to the mouth by the sea.
The IWeco funded project is being executed by the Nevis Historical and Conservation Society, NHCS, in collaboration with the Nevis Island Administration, NIA, and the St. Thomas's Improvement Group. Concerns about the overgrown state of the wetland at Nelson Spring were raised with the NHCS in 2019. The major problem being the colonizing of the pond by an invasive cattail reed and the growth of shrubs and trees around the edges of the area. This resulted in the blockage of the beautiful vistas to the sea from the island main road, reduction in size of the open water pond, and the loss of native flora and fauna. Other concerns were the health of the wetland ecosystem, which is threatened by coastal development, and the need to prevent the spread of the invasive reeds into other neighboring wetlands at Fort Ashby and Cades Bay. The St. Thomas's Improvement Group has adopted the Nelson Spring area for beautification and heritage development. The group, in collaboration with the NHCS, hosted a community outreach meeting with stakeholders and interested individuals on November 5, 2020. After almost 12 months of site visits and meetings with stakeholders, including the NIA, landowners, St. Thomas's community, visiting ecologists, heavy equipment operators, and reviewing aerial and land-based documentation, work on the pilot project commenced on November 23, 2020. The objectives of the pilot project have been defined as 1. To find an effective long-lasting method of removing, disposing, and preventing the growth of invasive weeds. 2. To engage in some initial replanting of the cleared area with native species and coconut palms. And 3. Sensitizing and informing the public, especially in the immediate surrounding area of the pond, of the importance of wetlands in the health of the environment. These objectives were being fulfilled during a community day at Nelson Spring on January 30th, 2021.
What we're doing today is mobilizing volunteer help to dig out the regrowing reeds by hand. The first clearing was by the big excavator. It was very wet a long way out then. The pond has got smaller at the moment. And there was some that he couldn't reach, he was sinking in. And then in the course of the work, some of the big heaps that he was moving, little pieces dropped off and his tracks would bury them, so they were regrowing. So they've shot up. It's amazing the amount of growth in just over a month since then.
The St. Thomas's Improvement Group, they have a vested interest in this project. So whatever we find from our pilot project, we will feed it into. The whole pilot project is to actually prevent or reduce the growth of the typha.
There'll be some replanting of local species of plants such as mangroves and palm trees.
This is called a swamp fern. So if at any time you come across the swamp ferns, please preserve them, do not kill them. You can always bring them and plant them at the pond at Nelson Spring.
The pond, for easier reference, is the same site where Lord Nelson watered the ship the Boreas in the early 19th century, and thus the name Nelson Spring.
This pond is ours, and I think it's our responsibility to make sure and keep it in a very good condition.
We had 3 of them. The last one that leave is this one, so we're trying to secure it as much as we could.
Growing up, I've heard stories of persons who have used the ponds for different reasons.
We had one on that side where Hamilton building is. That was called Muddy Pond. We used to go there and bathe, and cattle could go there and get their water and stuff like that. Then you had a next one over there which used to got a vein which create like hot water, but it all clog up. You could see the bush and thing. No one could get to it. We want back our spring, so we don't have to go over bad.
When water was scarce, our parents used to come to the pond and wash clothes, and while they hang them out, we'd be playing cricket between the coconut trees.
The St. Thomas's Improvement Group is here in their numbers, and I'm quite pleased to see that, because they are trying to take ownership of this. They're hoping to get a Jeff Small Grants project to continue the beautification and the management of the Nelson Spring.
An important element of this project, of course, is community involvement, community participation in the rehabilitation efforts. It actually really started as that. This is where stakeholders from NHCS came to realize that some work needed to be done here.
We discovered that the NHCS would have already written to have some funding for a feasibility study, and so now we are going to capitalize on the feasibility study, and the report given, we are going to use it to put together a project proposal so we can get funding to finish clear and replant some coconut trees and to restore it to a point that we can be proud of.
It was really all catalyzed by community members, and that's why they're working in collaboration with local community group, the St. Thomas's Improvement Group, to ensure kind of, once this kind of initial work is done, that the community group can be empowered to continue this work and ensure kind of the sustainability moving forward, that this area kind of is maintained and is stewarded by the community and for the community.
IWeco and NHCS has done most of it already, but we'll still be hands-on, ensuring that we guide the St. Thomas's Improvement Group.